All right. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about this idea of articulation or enunciation. So I'm just going to spend a few minutes on this. I think it's important because when we speak in public, it's important to speak clearly. I think a lot of problems with students is sometimes I can't quite understand what they're saying. And some of you, I know English may not be your first language, but even I realize that people whose English is their first language still have problem of pronunciation or enunciation. So even those who are born in this country, they still sometimes have difficulty pronouncing their words. So what this is, we're looking at the idea of slide. It refers to how clearly you pronounce your words, okay? And again, if you don't articulate your words clearly, people are going to have a hard time understanding you. So this not only applies to public presentations, but it also applies to everyday life, communicating with your boss or communicating with even your friends. It's important that you speak clearly. So if you can work on this, it can improve every aspect of your life. And as I said here, if English is not your first language, or you have poor speaking habits, you need to practice more. And so it really just takes a little bit of practice. And what I say is awareness, okay? Actually, my son, he's born in this country. I'm actually born here as well. I'm born in the United States. So English is my first language. And for my son, English is his first language. All right, so I mean, actually, English is his only language. It's the only language he speaks. But he still has problems in pronouncing words clearly. And I find this very typical in many, many native speakers, okay? So just let me give you a few rules and tips, all right? First, slow down, okay? If you talk too fast, you tend to mumble, because that's just one thing, slow down, all right? The other thing is try to open your mouth wider. I know sometimes people they talk like they don't open their mouth wide enough. So try to practice, say, consciously open your mouth wider and use your tongue. There's a symptom called a lazy mouth. People just kind of mumble and they don't talk clearly. Okay, so it's lazy mouth. All right. And that's what I call lazy mouth syndrome. You need to move your lips, tongue, entire mouth to speak well. All right. So be conscious of just moving your mouth. All right. And again, practice being aware of how you speak. All right. So a couple of things to keep in mind. When you speak, all right, first pay attention to beginning sounds. All right. So when we look at sounds like, let me ask you, Ren, can you say this?
This.
Say again?
This.
Okay, a little bit. This is not, the TH sound is not quite clear. Okay, so what you have to do is say, put your tongue between your teeth. This.
This.
Much better. You see? Yeah. See, so what I'm saying is just learning some basic mouth patterns, like using the TH sound. Theater. Everyone say that word. Theater. Theater. Okay, now some of you are probably pretty good at it, okay? But some of you need to practice and say, put your tongue to your teeth. Theater, to make the sound clear, okay? And sometimes, we're lazy and we don't actually say theater. We say theater, okay? And that sometimes makes it hard to understand what you're saying, all right? So simple things like that. Pay attention to the beginning sounds, okay? And then secondly, the middle sounds, all right? Say bitter. Bitter. Okay, not too bad. Bitter, not too bad. So you're paying attention, see? Bitter. Okay, a little better, not bad. So sometimes, be careful. Sometimes a tendency for a lot of people is to make the T a D. They say, instead of bitter, they say bitter, okay? Now we can understand that. But it's better to use the T sound because it is the T sound, bitter, not bitter, okay? But because so many people say bitter, we kind of understand it, right? But try to be more precise, okay? All right, let's try it. So beginning sounds, middle sounds, and ending sounds, okay? Let's take a look at the word math, like mathematics, that's math, okay? Say math.
Math.
Okay,
Math.
math, okay,
Math.
okay, try this, put your, again, with the TH sound, put your tongue through your teeth, math,
Math.
better, okay, yeah. See, so what I'm saying is, you can actually go on the internet and type in, at Google, how to pronounce math, okay, and you get the clear pronunciation, and you can even Google how to move your mouth to make the sound. So you can actually Google how to make the math sound, all right? My son had this problem, you know, one time he was, he came home and he was a young boy, and he was talking about, I got mad. I said, mad? Why are you mad? And then actually I realized he was talking about math. Okay, math. He was talking about doing math. He wasn't mad. He was math. Okay, so what I'm saying is my son had a problem of using the TH sound as a D. So he would say mad, mad. But it's not mad. I said math. So I taught him to put his tongue through his teeth and say math. So what I'm saying is these simple things of paying attention to how you pronounce your words makes a big difference, okay? And if you're not sure how to pronounce it, you can Google how to pronounce math. And you can even Google how to position your lips, how to make the TH sound, okay? So these are, it takes a little bit of practice, but I think the first thing is just to become aware of how you speak. And that in itself will help you to speak better. And some of you say, well, you know, I speak with an accent. You can actually minimize the accent by learning to speak more clearly. All right. So that's what I just want to say to you today. And you can also practice speaking. You know, if I were to here, why don't we say this phrase together slowly? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked. See, so that teaches you to use the P sound, right? To pop, right? So, and I posted this, and there you can practice some of these others as well. We won't do every single one. Let me just, let's try this one here. A tree toad loved a she toad. So you say it with me. A tree toad loved a she toad. Okay. So again, practice saying simple phrases. Okay. All right. So let's do the whole thing. A tree toad loved a she toad who lived up in a tree. He was a two-toed tree toad, but a three-toed toad was she. So this practice is using the TH sound and the SH sound, right? She. So again, practice and be aware of these sounds. Okay, so that's all I want to say today. I posted these, and you know, these are some basic phrases that you can practice with. And the other thing is, you know, if you're making an important speech, what I would do is I would actually, if you really want to, I would practice the speech, okay? I would write it out word for word, okay? And what sometimes you could, have any of you used the read aloud function in Word or another software? See, if you go to Word and you go to review, there's a function there called read aloud. And there's a voice that will actually read your script, okay? So what you could do is you could listen to the reader and copy the reader, because the reader on Word or on Google, you know, has excellent English, right? Pronounces the words really clearly. So I would actually, if you really want, if you're making an important presentation, I would, you know, type it out word for word, okay? And then try the read aloud feature on Word, or I think they have it in other software. Listen to it and pause it and practice it. Read after the read aloud. So after the reader reads, pause a paragraph, you say it, copying the reader. So you copy a good speaker. That's what you want to do, copy a good speaker. So try using that read aloud function in Word or in other software. And as I say, and if there's some words that you don't understand, you can always Google how to pronounce this word, how to make certain sounds, okay? Again, it's just a matter of awareness and practice, and you can actually become a much, much better and clearer speaker. When I was in university, I took a public speaking course like this one, and my university actually offered an evaluation by a speech pathologist. So I went into the so-called speech lab, and I was given a whole bunch of stuff to read, okay? And so I would read, and then later the speech pathologist would analyze what I said, and I made an appointment to go back to see her, and then she would explain to me the words that I might have mispronounced, okay? And at that time, I was a university student. She actually told me, she says, you actually have very good speech. So I know naturally, I guess because I paid attention to the way I spoke, I naturally speak clearly, well, okay? But again, it's a matter of paying attention, okay? All right, so let me just stop and I'll sick here.